What's going on, everybody? Cafecito time. Cheers. Hydration. Well, there could be coffee in here. There could be Jim Beam in here. I don't know. It could be anything. But anyway, what's going on, everybody? Anthony, what's up? Zach, what's going on, man? I got my guest in the waiting room. Perfect timing. Bring him in a second. Chug Mo beer. As always, thank you for being on. Very loyal. Yes, please hit the like button. Tanga, yes. Thank you for hinting at that. Yeah, that is actually something I've been thinking about. So stay tuned. Maybe later in the year, I'll come up with some merch. Believe me, that's been on my mind. Santouche, what's up? Darian, all right. Let me bring in my guest because he just came on and he's in the waiting room. Let me not wait too long to bring him in. David.
What's good?
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
I am doing great, my man. How about you?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Yeah. So I'm sure you saw that national championship game last night, right?
Was that last night?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been kind of walking around today a little jealous, to be honest with you. You know, it must be a exciting time to be a Georgia fan right now. You know,
I am very happy for them. Aside from the Canes, obviously, there's those two or three teams that I've always kind of liked. I've always kind of liked Michigan. I've always kind of liked Georgia. Georgia's always been one of those teams that, I was always a fan of Mark Richt even before he came here.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy they finally, from, being such a good, consistent team for so many years, that they finally got over the hump and beating Alabama to do it.
I don't know what's worse, like never getting there or getting that little taste over and over and over, and then you just can't get there, and they finally got over that hump. So yeah, I was happy for him. I got to say.
Yeah. Well, I prefer that over being bad every year. I prefer that for sure.
Yeah, it beats the alternative, no doubt.
Yeah. I got to ask you though, watching that game, because you alluded to it already. I think, I don't know if this number is correct, but I think Georgia has like 18 or 19 5-stars on their roster. Something stupid like that.
Yeah.
And Alabama, I think, has like 15.
Yeah.
And specifically the trenches, like that Georgia defensive line is one of the best I've ever seen in my life as a fan. Have we reached a point, and we'll dive into the trenches in a second, but overall, have we reached a point where like you can't win unless you have that level of talent?
You have to. I mean, to win it all, you might, like I said, you may get a taste of it. You may have a year where you have a really good run, but to beat those teams, you're going to have to. And you mentioned the trenches, and I mentioned that last night watching the game with some folks. The front seven, for both sides, like just insane with the speed, and just there's never like one guy tackling. There's one guy gets there, and there's 3 or 4 show up. It was just amazing to watch. I knew they were really good, obviously. I mean, this, but then to just sit there and watch them last night, how well coached and the talent. And somebody said last night, well, there's a couple of DBs going to be out. And I'm like, okay, well, you just grab 2 more 5-star guys. I mean, I know the experience and all that. I get that. It's going to be a little different, but talent-wise, they just do not stop. And you can't they just continue to bring guys in. You know what I'm saying? Every guy they bring in is talented. And if you're going to get to that step, that's what it's going to take. I don't know how you get there, but I don't make $8 million a year to figure that out. Thank goodness. But that, you're going to have to get there somehow, especially in the trenches.
Yeah, no, and it takes a few years. It takes time. Alabama didn't get there in 2007 when Nick Saban arrived. It took 3-4 years. But like you said, when they have a key injury, it does not concern them one bit. They, the guy behind him might be a freshman, but he was the number 2 guy in his class or something, Yeah.
And the way they do with their coaching staffs is amazing too. I mean, a program loses an OC or a DC and everybody kind of, we might be down this year. Dude, Saban loses every year like a handful of guys, and he just reloads and that thing just keeps running. It's amazing to watch.
Yeah, man. But that being said, I look at the guys that Mario A has already brought in as as coaches. Of course, he brought Alex Mirabal with him. No shocker there.
Yeah.
I think we are on our way. Considering all things go as planned, I think we're on our way to having an elite offensive line because I think he's an elite coach.
Mm-hmm.
Now, going into 2022, though, I am a little concerned because we already lost Navon Donaldson, or we're losing Navon Donaldson. John Campbell has had his injury issues. Jalen Rivers has had his injury issues. We are getting Zion back, thank God. I don't know what we would have done if we didn't get him back.
Yeah.
But really, you got him and you got Ja'Kai, and those are the only two guys you can count on at the moment. Are you a little concerned like I am at O-line?
I am worried to death. I'll just be honest with you. I love the trenches. I've said it 100 times. You've got to have that. We get skill guys and we're going to have speed and things like that, but you have got to have those trenches in order to do anything. And you're exactly right. When you start looking or really digging into the roster, we need some help, and mostly depth. You know what I'm saying? We can put 5 guys out there, but we need some depth and some guys that can come in and play some reps and give some guys some relief and help out. You're not going to do that with 5 guys. You're not going to be able to run, consistently and keep up with everybody. So I don't know if you noticed today, I saw this afternoon kind of late. I don't know everybody, but apparently the floodgates have opened at Georgia and Bama with the transfers. There's been several guys who have entered the portal from both of those programs today. So I think everybody keeps saying, why aren't we getting transfers? I think there may be a little method to the madness right now with Mario in the portal. So we'll kind of see who all ends up there. But
yeah, that got a little crazy today. And I was surprised, but then at the same time, I remember how we got Tyreek Stevenson. It was kind of he went to the SEC, he got a taste of that, and he got a little homesick or whatever and wanted to come back. You can read into that how you want, but he came back to South Florida. There are a lot of South Florida kids in Georgia and in Alabama.
Yeah.
So could that be a little bit of it? I hope so. I hope that's what it is. I would love to, snag a couple of those studs, but yeah, that's with the transfer portal the way it is now, it opens the opportunity for, okay, you go win your natty in the SEC. You get a taste of that.
Yeah.
Whatever. You get some NIL money up there, and it's you know what? I want to come back to the crib for a year or two. Great. Maybe that's what Mario's waiting for. Bring it on.
Yeah. And I think you'll see a lot of those kids that leave, they don't want to leave, but they want to win. They want to win now. So that's where you're going to go. So hopefully over time, as we continue to grow and develop the program here, some of those guys will kind of stay around. So, and then also a lot of these guys on the O-line, they're about to get coached up like they've never been coached up before. They've got a guy coming in here. This is what he does, not just for the O-line coach, but Mario as well. That's his niche. So they're going to get developed and coached up like they never have before. So hopefully we'll see a difference there. But we've got to get some depth and some help in a lot of positions.
Yeah, no, for sure. And are there any names that obviously some guys hit the portal today, so you're probably still catching up as I am.
Yeah.
Were there any guys, after the whole Ryan Swoboda thing that he decided not to come for his visit, are there any other guys in the portal that maybe you had your eye on that we might be interested in the trenches?
I actually saw one today. Can't remember his name. He's the offensive tackle from Vanderbilt that hit the portal. He's actually their starting left tackle. So I don't know yet the interest there. I haven't even had time to dig into that. I noticed his name today. And I always look when you see a guy, you want to know why is he transferring? Did he play and all that stuff? And everything I've seen, he starts there, and he entered that today. So he's interesting to me. So hopefully something may come of that. And visits are starting up again this week, so it's going to be an exciting 2 or 3 weeks left in the month till we get to February.
Yeah, I know Dave Yulee, among other guys, are going to be visiting this weekend, so that'll be huge.
Yeah.
Let's see. Reading the comments, I just remembered Kevin Smith. We heard the Kevin Smith news recently. I don't think, as far as that's not official yet. It's just as far as we know, he is going to be the guy at running back.
Yeah,
Doing that coach.
Yeah, I'm just seeing all the per sources in this report. I've not seen anything from the school, but I think at this point it would be a shocker if that wasn't official soon. So, and Tyler Steen is that guy's name from Vanderbilt.
I literally just popped up on my screen as you were saying it. Tyler Steen.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's click on that. Look at the height and weight. 6'5", 317.
Yeah.
Oh, he's from St. Thomas Aquinas. Okay,
right.
So there's a connection there.
Yep. So hopefully there'll be some interest there. Like I said, we need some guys that can come in and kind of help out right now. And whether that's a starting role, every play, or just, a guy that's going to come in and give a lot of reps and a lot of help, we need depth bad. So hopefully that works out.
Yeah. Well, I just saw Santucci's comment and donation. By the way, thank you for the donation, sir. Always appreciate it. Breaking Coach Ish to Duke as CB's coach.
Well, that just now happened. I haven't seen that.
Let's see. Ishmael Aristide. Let's see if anything pops up on the Google. Yeah, sources say Ishmael Aristide is finalizing a Duke to become oh no, that's from 2021. Never mind. Not seeing, a quick Google search, not seeing anything yet. That must be like if that's true, that's a very, that's a breaking thing.
Yeah, here it is.
Miami linebacker coach, another person saying, Miami linebacker coach to Duke, breaking news.
Yeah. Sources, Duke is hiring Aristide as the new cornerback coach. He comes from being O linebacker coach at Miami and worked with Oko at Texas A&M. So,
based on who we're looking at for DC, Glenn Schumann being one of the candidates, I'm not too shocked by that.
I'm not either.
Yeah. Hell of a recruiter, though. I hope.
Oh, yeah. And I think as he gets, he's so new into his coaching career, as he continues to get that experience, I think he's going to end up being a fantastic coach down the road one day once he gets that experience and all that. So good move for him, man, if it works out. Best of luck.
Best of luck. Hopefully he makes his way back here one day because he has all those ties.
Oh, man, yeah.
To South Florida.
Yeah, ridiculous recruiter.
Yeah. Let's see. What else? Wesley, I'm going to circle back to your question about Bryles because I wanted to touch on defense first. So we were talking about O-line, then D-line, and I mentioned Schumann just now. So, yeah, let's touch on D coordinator for a second. So lately, I'm talking like as of the last day or so, I've been hearing that now Schumann might want to stay at Georgia. And, I'm hearing other names pop up. I'm hearing Doug Belk now, who's the D coordinator, I think, an assistant head coach at Houston, who ran a very solid defense at Houston this year. They were very good in the bowl game against Auburn. Derek Mason, of course, is still a name out there, but, not super high on the list. And then Clint Hurt is a guy that popped up last week. I'm curious because Flo and I talked about it on Sunday, and my mind has changed about this back and forth since then. What is your opinion of Clint? Like, I say the name Clint Hurt. What are you feeling?
Nothing personal. I'm not excited about it just because listen, I'm Glenn Schumann. I'm a Glenn Schumann guy. I have been since the beginning, since all this started. I mentioned him before he was really even mentioned. He would, just kind of dig into some of the top defenses and programs. And when you see where he's been, what he's been around, he is more involved behind the scenes than a lot of people might realize. Everybody says, well, he doesn't call plays. He can call plays, I promise you. That's not a problem. Recruiting wise, it's second to none, which I know is important to Mario from what I've been told. So hopefully that works out. Like, that's my number one guy right there. It has been the whole time, and I have not changed on that. Doug Belk, to me, when I first heard his name, I'll just be honest, I didn't really know, but the more I learned, the more impressed I am with him. Now runs his defense, very good numbers across the board, good recruiter. He just signed an extension, I know, with them, but I think it's for like 2 years. He's making about $1 million. So apparently we're rich now, so that shouldn't matter. Then, yeah. So with Clint Hurt, like, it's nothing personal. I've just been so big on Schumann. I dug into Belk and got excited, and then I hear Clint Hurt. And I think hearing him at the end of this process, I think everybody's just ready for it to be done. If Mario says Clint Hurt's the guy, I'm going to trust him, and we will ride with that. We have no choice. But I want Schumann. Like, I'll be disappointed. Doesn't really matter to me who it is. If it's not Schumann, after that, I'm a belt guy. So those are the two guys that I really, really want to see here. So again, nothing personal to Clint Hurt. He just doesn't excite me too much.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'll give you my feeling on Clint Hurt in a second. But Rasta, yes, I will take you up on that. DM me, hit me up for sure. We'll get some cafecito. Let's see what else. Oh, and yeah, so Clint Hurt. At first, I was like you. I was like, yeah, it doesn't really get me too excited. It's not a splash hire for sure, and I think Mario wants to make splash hires on both ends. But if it was a situation where, let's say, God forbid, Mario does not get his guy, let's say he does not land Schumann, I think Clint Hurt would be a very, very solid consolation prize, and here's why. I think he's grown a lot since he was a coach at Miami, because he was a coach at Miami from like 07 to 09, something like that.
Right.
You got to remember, Clint Hurt right now is 43 years old. He's still a relatively young coach. Back then, Clint Hurt was what, 28, 29 years old?
Yeah.
He was a young man. He was just getting his feet wet as a coach. So, and then a lot of unfortunate things happened during the Randy Shannon era that led to, we didn't officially get sanctioned, but you know what I mean. It led to a lot of trouble later. But so he was roped into that, unfortunately. But my point is, I think he's learned from that. He was considered a top recruiter at Louisville. He has gotten a lot of experience in the NFL, coaching the D-line, coaching linebackers. And I think Coach Cristobal's sending a message that I am doubling down on the trenches. Clint Hurt is a defensive line guy. Played D end, I think, at Miami, like in the mid to late 90s. So it's a hire I wouldn't hate, but it would be because, okay, Schumann didn't come, so what's the next? It would be the consolation prize, but it wouldn't be a bad consolation prize. That being said, if that happens, I need a coordinator on the other side that has a lot of experience. I can't have two inexperienced coordinators.
Yep.
I can't have two projects. So that's just me. Philly Kane, is it true T-Rob going to Georgia as co-DC with Muschamp? I've been hearing these rumors as well. Have you heard anything about T-Rob possibly leaving?
Yeah, nothing concrete or anything like that, just rumors. And that's an easy one to stir up because of the connection. The two of those guys are extremely close. And I would imagine, let's say Schumann left and Muschamp moves into the full-blown DC role. Yeah, I would kind of be a little surprised if he didn't come looking for T-Rob. But then when you talk to some recruits and things like that T-Rob is recruiting, the conversations he's having with those kind of lead you to believe that he's going to stay. Anything can happen. It's college football and coaching and recruiting. I get it. But everything you hear from him and recruits and things like that leads you to believe that it's not going to happen. But again, he wants to advance his career and continue to grow as a coach. So if that opportunity presented itself and he took it, best of luck to him. But I haven't heard anything, concrete about it at all.
Okay. Well, that is one guy from the previous staff that I'm like, please hang on to that guy. T-Rob, I mean, we talked, it was a year ago now, hard to believe. Was it last January or February that T-Rob, that we landed him?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. And we've been talking nothing but good about him since then. And rightfully so. He didn't have the right head coach above him to really implement what he wanted to implement. Trust me, the guy's the real deal. Are we in it for go ahead?
No, I was going to say, it would be a shame to see him leave now at this point with Mario and this new staff coming in, because again, we were so excited when we got him. Whatever happened with the previous staff. But now that we've got these guys coming in, it would be a shame not to see him get to work with that. So hopefully he sticks.
Yeah, exactly. Jay Hall's asking, are we in it for Drew Sanders? That's one of the new linebackers that hit the portal. Or it's probably too early for you to have heard anything.
Yeah, it really is. I'll just be honest with you. The portal I thought recruiting was tough to keep up with. Now this portal, I just physically can't. Like, how many people can a portal hold? Like, you just keep pounding people.
I think it's unlimited. Like,
it is. Yeah, it is. And then today I see all these Georgia and Bama guys, and these are like legit 4- and 5-star dudes coming from that program. So now you're like, oh my God. So everything that you thought you knew about the portal before today, just time to erase the board and start over again. So I really don't know. I don't have any info on him, to be honest with you.
All right. Yeah, I feel like it's an Etch-a-Sketch, like at the end of every week, like start over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alex Rivera, what's up, man? Thank you very much for the donation. Appreciate it. There was a report earlier that Hurt is no longer in consideration for DC. Also, Darnell Washington possibly in portal coming out of Georgia.
See,
I mean, that would be something.
yeah. Yeah. And a lot of dudes from the Florida and South Florida area, like we just said, have gone to those programs. So you may start to get a lot of looks now with the new regime and all that. It's going to get interesting. I'm telling you, the next 2 to 3 weeks is going to be a roller coaster for sure.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Looking for where I saw that. 247 reporting. Okay. Mario was working late last night during the game. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt
I
it.
don't think he sleeps. I don't think Mario Cristobal sleeps at all.
No, I agree. The best coaches don't. John Packey is going to be the new. Yeah, not at Miami, I hope. Yeah, Manny handcuffed everybody. I think UM is just, we can't get it right. Nah, I think you're about to be proven wrong there. I would be surprised if Mike Elko, the new head coach at Virginia, hired T Rob. Would you be surprised if Mike Elko hired T Rob as DC there? Yeah, I would be a little surprised.
Yeah, I don't see him leaving for that, to be honest.
No, if he's leaving, it would be for DC at like a big school. It would be like a huge job.
Yeah.
But that being said, let's switch over to offense now. I know Wesley and a couple other guys were asking me my opinion of Bryles. My opinion of the guy, I've stated it here. Yeah, there's a bit of a cloud that kind of follows his name, unfortunately, with the the Baylor stuff. But he's, as far as we know, been cleared of that, and we also wouldn't be his first stop after that. He went to FSU, and then he was with Arkansas this past year. So, they did their due diligence, obviously. So, as a pure play caller, I think what he does matches this personnel, this offense very well. At least what we have. What are you feeling as far as OC, as far as Bryles and the other names out there, Dorsey and Pons? Now I'm hearing his name again. What are you hearing / feeling there?
Yeah, I mean, I would be okay if it was Kendall Bryles. I wouldn't have a huge problem with it. I think the biggest thing there is he just doesn't stay anywhere. But if we get a legit coordinator, he's going to have other opportunities. So it's kind of, what do you want to do here? You want a guy that's really, really good. And when that happens, other places are going to look for him. But Bryles just tends to kind of bounce around a lot. I would love to get a guy that's going to hang around for, 2 or 3 years or something like that would be fantastic. As far as what happened at Baylor, I think he was cleared of all that, but it does follow him around. So I don't know the perception of him in the recruiting world and all that, if that hurts him at all. But, as a play caller, I would be okay with it. Ken Dorsey, I think, would be just fantastic. He's kind of like Schumann on the offensive side. Everybody says, well, he's not been a coordinator before. You're right, he hasn't. But I promise you, he is involved behind the scenes. He's involved with play calling. He's going to be a NFL offensive coordinator. That's going to happen. If we don't grab him, somebody else is going to give him that opportunity. So he is more than capable of doing the job. I would absolutely love that to see him come here. And then, Frank Ponce, that name's been, mentioned. I wouldn't hate it. It would be okay. But I think I'm kind of like you. I really want – it's going to be tough to have two guys that have never, that are projects, first-time guys. You know what I'm saying? So if you sit here and say, man, I really want Ken Dorsey and I really want Glenn Schumann, well, that's exactly what you just did. So I would love to see a balance somewhere, or who would be the co-OC on defense if it's a first-time guy and kind of things like that. So, like I said, I would say Dorsey would probably be personally my first choice. But then on the flip side, I just sat here and said Schumann is my first choice. So I would like some stability on one side of the ball. Where that happens or not, I don't know.
Yeah, if you go Dorsey on offense, I would prefer more like a Muschamp or somebody really experienced on the other side to balance it out.
Yeah. Now, if Muschamp was available and interested, and that was a possibility, I'm done. You get me that guy, and I'll just be quiet. But I think the names that you're hearing around, and that comment right there, I've heard that as well. There's a connection with him and Dorsey, from past, so that could be a possibility. But I don't see him, if he does that, it's not going to be an on the field role. I would be very surprised. Analyst, advisor, something like that behind the scenes. So.
Yeah, I mean, I was hearing, what podcast was I listening to? I listened to so many of them during the week.
Yeah.
They blur together. I'm sure you do the same. I want to say it was Through the Smoke. It was Gabby's podcast. I think one of them was mentioning that Chud, what they heard recently was he's pretty comfortable up in BC, that they see him possibly staying up there, that the rumors have kind of cooled down. That's the last I've heard. That was as of yesterday, I think, the last I've heard about Chud.
Yeah, and the timing for Dorsey doesn't really add up to me, because you want to get this done. For recruiting, it's vital that this needs to happen. Mario, I saw something where he said that he expects everything to be done, finalized by this Thursday. That Friday is when the recruiting dead period opens back up. You can begin to talk with recruits and things like that. So Dorsey's in a playoff run now. So if you look at the timeline there, that doesn't really add up either. So how much that affects it, I don't know.
Yeah, the Bills making the playoffs and winning the division and also hearing that about Chud yesterday, I was like, okay, maybe it's not going to be Dorsey. As much as I would love him here, I was a huge fan of his. Me and my dad would talk when he was a player here. He called it. He was like, that guy's going to be a coach one day. And I'm like, yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah. His football IQ and intelligence is just off the charts. And that's why when people say, well, he hasn't done, trust me, the guy can do it. I promise you, he can figure it out. I'm not worried about that side of it at all. The timeline just doesn't add up to me.
Yeah. And Mario's saying that he wants to have the staff put together by, you said, this Thursday.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
That tells me, okay, it's probably not going to be Dorsey on offense. It's probably going to be Schumann on defense is what I'm thinking. Like, that makes me think more and more it's going to be him, because now the game has been played. They're done.
Yeah.
That tells me that, okay, they're just dotting I's and crossing T's at this point. That's just my gut feeling.
Yeah, same. Just for me sitting here in my recliner and knowing everything there is to know and being that smart, it seems like that kind of adds up. Like, you would think that one of the coordinators, we were waiting on this game to be played, because if not, what's the reason, to prolong this thing? And I think he just wants to announce it all kind of together, rather than the OC and then the DC comes a week later. I think he kind of wants to get this all knocked out together. So, when you start adding up the timelines and all that sort of makes sense.
Yeah, man. EJ, thank you very much for the very generous donation. John and Dave, did you hear how many times the announcers talked about an Alabama player last night that were from Fort Lauderdale? The crib is going to end up soon. That crap is going to end soon when Mario starts keeping these guys home, though, Canes. That's the hope, man. When he was hired, that was the first thing I thought of. Like, okay, the Joey Bozas and the Calvin Ridleys of the world that go, and Ja'Cory Brooks, guys like that just, as freshmen, they're making plays in the national title game. We're going to start keeping, maybe not everybody, can't keep everybody, but, some of those guys, some of those program changing guys, you start keeping them at home. But yes. Oh, and 128 in the chat. Thank you guys very much. Please hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. Help me reach my goal of hitting. I've told everyone my goal is 10K by the end of the year. It's a lofty, very, very lofty goal. I realize that, but I know it's possible. So please help me get there. And also, please go follow Dave and Rost on there. You guys do your show Thursday night, correct?
Thursday night, 8:45. Yes, sir.
Nice. Let's see, I've been talking myself into James Coley for OC. I think he learned from the UGA job, would be a solid recruiter. What about that guy as like an outside possibility as OC? Because he was here as the OC during the Al Golden days.
Mm-hmm.
You can make the argument he was a little handcuffed when Al Golden was the head coach. I think that played a factor for sure. I've always liked James Coley. I don't know what, and it's been a good, how long? 8 years since then?
Yeah, it's been a while. That was a name, actually, I guess a couple of weeks ago started popping up that there was real interest there. A lot of people are, oh, he was in Miami. I was like, well, hang on, just because he was in Miami, just pump the brakes a minute. But that name started coming around, and it was real interesting. I really hadn't thought about it, to be honest with you. It sort of came out of left field. And then when I really started thinking about it, kind of what you said, it's been a while. I think he's kind of made just trips around and been around some really good programs and good coaches and things like that. So that would be recruiting wise, it would be an absolute grand slam because the guy's relentless. But I think that would be very interesting to see.
Yeah, I remember hearing his name as rumored to be the FIU head coach. I mean, like, if they land him as their head coach, that's a grand slam. Honestly,
Absolutely.
I've always thought very highly of James Coley. I know he's not really being, for whatever reason, by most of the fan base considered at OC. They're considering more as like, oh, bring him in as an analyst, as a tight ends coach, or what. He's not coming to be a tight ends coach. I can tell you that. But
No, if he's going to do that, he'll stay where he is, and that huge fancy recruiting class they've got coming up there, he'll stay up there and enjoy that. But I think if you offered him that, he would jump all over it. A chance to come home, OC, call plays, all that, everything adds up for him to do it. Whether or not there's interest, I don't know, but it would make sense when you think about it.
yeah, no, and I know he and Mario are very tight. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an under the radar hire right now, but honestly, I would not hate it if he came here to call plays. Chuck Mobier, thank you, sir, for the donation. Canes family, let's go. Cafecito Canes, over 5K subs. Keep up the great work. Thank you, sir. Let's see. Next. Anthony, John, who do you think Mario hires as analysts for receivers, tight ends, and running backs, quarterbacks, and D-line? I've always wondered this. How many analysts are we allowed to have? Because it seems like Saban has an analyst for like every guy on the team.
Yeah. I don't know the exact number, to be honest with you. And like you said, Nick Saban, though, he has, and like his analysts would be solid coaches anywhere else. I mean, it's amazing the names that he's able to do there. Kirby Smart has started doing that as well. And it seems like Mario wants to do that. He wants to have a lot of solid analysts on both sides of the ball. Who's that's going to be, I don't know. Because lots of times your analysts have to do with guys who are fired and things like that. And I really don't know who he would do as analyst. I can't figure out the on-field coaches. There's no way I can get into the off-field. I have no clue.
Yeah, me neither.
I have no clue.
Hiring analysts is still like a new thing, like in the last few years. So
yeah, and a lot of those guys have connections. He has his connections at Oregon's guys who are grad assistants and analysts and things of that nature there that you kind of move into those. So I don't know who he knows as far as that goes.
Let's see. If Coley comes, Shamar comes.
Maybe. I'm in.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think is going on with Shamar right now? Like, what's your feeling there?
We're in a good spot with him. I do know that,
mm-hmm.
But I'm just going to be honest with you. I wasn't too worried until I saw Coleman do what he did, and now I'm like sitting here going, "Wait, hang on, surely not." Now I know he came out and said, I did see Shamar came out, and I think he actually said he wasn't interested in that anymore.
Yeah, I heard that.
Right. Mm-hmm. However, we didn't think Coleman was either, so. I'm not saying the guy's lying about it. It's just tough now until it happens. Right now we're in a good spot. I know Miami is in a good spot. If somebody else in a better spot, don't know that yet. He's going to get back on campus, into this month. He's going to make some trips around, and I think it's us, A&M and Georgia. So Georgia, I think what I hope is the class Georgia has and the class A&M has kind of works in their favor a little bit because they've got such a big, talented class coming in. He kind of looks at this class. He could come in, make an impact right away. Hopefully that's interesting to him. So I think we're in a good spot. I just don't know where he sits with everybody else right now.
Gotcha. Eric Kennedy said, live squad, what's up, Dave and John? Is it true we're going to a 30 defense? By 30 defense, do you mean like a 3-3 stack kind of defense? I'm not familiar with 30 defense. Like I had to Google it just now.
That's hard to answer because I don't know who I don't know. I don't know who the DC is going to be, to be honest with you.
I do think we're going to go away from like this, this stubbornness of being in a 4-2-5. I think we're going to go mix it up a little bit for sure. I mean, the players we're bringing in, like Cyrus Moss, who's a guy that doesn't put his hand in the dirt very often. Lichtenstein, who's 6'6", 270. To me, that's like a perfect 3-4 D end, like a JJ Watt kind of guy. Shamar Stewart, 6'6", 270, same body type.
Yep.
So that tells me that we might see a little more 3-4 or 3-3-5 on this team.
I'll be honest with you. Everybody always has their preference or what you. I really don't care, just as long as it works.
No.
I mean, if the guy has a defense and he's ran that for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, whatever the case may be, he's mastered it. You look at the numbers; they add up. He's done it on the big stage in big conferences, and if it works for him and he can get those types of players here, I'm all in. As long as we get a win at the end of the day, I honestly just don't care.
Yeah, no, I'm not one of these fans that we've always run a 3-4. That's Miami style, but. Yeah, that was Miami style back then when we had linebackers that can run with the receivers.
Yeah.
Receivers are running 4-2s now. It's not, the game has changed a little bit.
Yep.
What's the word on Zoe? I haven't heard anything new on Zoe. Have you?
I haven't heard anything at all on Zoe in like 2 weeks or something, 2, 3 weeks. I don't know. It got really, really quiet real quick. That's a great idea right there. Yeah, I would be in for that.
That would be, as far as a play caller, I mean, that's a grand slam right there.
Yeah. Everything we talked about, that's what you get right there.
Yeah, let's see. 14 analysts.
Wow.
That's what Nick has. That's insane. So there must not be a limit on analysts. I know there's a limit on coaches.
Mm-hmm. I almost think there's not. I don't think there is a limit, to be honest with you. I think you can have as many as you want. And pay, as long as you're willing to pay them, whatever. I don't know. I don't think there is a limit, to be honest with you.
Yeah, let's see. John, would you be okay with bringing in Derek Mason as an analyst on defense, or do you think he would never come here? I mean, if Derek Mason's going to come here, it's probably going to be as a DC because he's at Auburn right now. He's already got a pretty big job. So
and makes very good money at Auburn doing what he's doing there. If he was going to come here, it would be as a DC. He's not going to do an analyst role anywhere right now. I mean,
let's see, 3-4 defense. If your name is Bama, you hire as many as you want. Yeah,
you hire as many as you want. You recruit as many as you want. You sign as many as you want. You do what you want to do.
Dave, do you think a guy? I think we just answered this question. I got like Derek Mason would be willing to come to Miami and work for Mario as a defensive analyst if we hire a guy like Glenn Schumann from Georgia. I mean, I doubt it, but
I just don't. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. He wants to. I would imagine he wants to coach again. He probably wants to be a head coach again. So, now I would be fine for him to come here as the DC. I don't think we talked about him a while ago. I would be okay with that. He's done it successfully. Solid play caller in a big conference. I would be cool with that. If he came here as an analyst, I would really want to know what Mario told him to get him to do that, because it just wouldn't make sense for his career, I don't think.
Yeah. Did you guys hear the boosters at Texas A&M dropped $30 million for the current recruiting class?
That's a fact.
I don't. Yeah.
That's a fact.
I don't doubt it.
And you don't even hide it anymore. It's the crazy thing. They just put it out there.
You don't have to.
You just throw it out there, So, I mean, that's like I was saying with Coley. If he was offered an OC spot here, okay, maybe, but he's not going to leave all that, all that talent that's coming in that he's going to have to work with to go anywhere other than, a step up for him. So, yeah, that class is ridiculous. Highest rated class of all time.
That's just stupid.
Yeah.
Unless we steal Shamar, that would help.
Yeah, it would help.
That would help our cause. I think probably we were talking about the 3-4 defense. I think people are still traumatized from Dino and his defense. Yeah. Well, let's remember, Coach D'Onofrio was just flat out not a good defensive coordinator. It wasn't the scheme. It was the fact that we were playing on our heels every play and giving 20 yards of cushion. Yeah. And, that's the problem. The 3-4 is not the problem.
No, you could let that guy coach a different scheme every week and it wouldn't have worked. I'm telling you.
No, I was at games where
it was bad. It was really bad.
Dude, I was at games, and this is like 2012, 2013 probably. I was at games. Alonzo Highsmith's son was the safety, right? And there were fans in my section that were like, plays about to be snapped. Okay, look, why is AJ Highsmith literally 40 yards from the line of scrimmage as a safety? He's like playing prevent.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really bad. I think we're still a little traumatized by that. It's hard to get over things like that. I don't think a lot of people realize how bad it really was. But when you think back, it was like that every week, like every play, you were looking at that thing going, what in the world are they doing? Like dudes are literally like at the concession stand. Like they're not even, even on the field hardly. It was insane.
Yeah. It was bad. Toby, thank you for the $5 dono. Really appreciate it. Would you think since our new coaches are now following Bryles on Twitter, that's a sign he's the OC? Sometimes when you follow the follows, that's a good indication. Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
It is. Now, if it's all these new guys just now starting to follow him, possibly. The only thing is, if once you scroll through some of those follows, you'll see like a lot of these coaches follow each other and recruits and things like that anyway. So, but if the new guys are starting to follow him now, yeah, that could be a possibility.
Yeah. Yeah, Ross. And that's what I thought. Off the field coaches, I think there's no limit, but I think there's limits to on the field coaches. I think it's like 10 or 12 or something like that.
Rasta doesn't know. He's just trying to chime in, act like he knows what he's talking about.
Let's see. Dang, rumors I hear about about Herman is that the Bears are interviewing him too, and he is already on staff.
Yeah, he's also getting paid still from Texas, and I don't know what all's involved there once he takes another job, but he's making really good free money still from them. So
Yeah, no, Texas just pays stupid money. Les is asking if a top QB is in the portal and wants to come to the U, would you take him knowing what we already have? My answer would be no. Um, Even with a uber talented guy like Caleb Williams, I mean, you're pretty set for the next 4 years, I would say.
yeah,
Even if guys leave early, I think for about the next 4 years, you're pretty set. I mean, agree, disagree?
I mean, I guess depends on who and the situation. All that it's hard to turn away talent. Things can happen. Guys can get hurt. Guys can leave. Things like that. The only thing is, if we're going to do that, I want to see all the other areas addressed and fixed first. And then if we still got room and somebody wants to come, okay. But we've got more needs than quarterback right now that we need to use those spots for. So if all that was addressed and a guy still wants to come for whatever reason, I don't know why, but if they do, because most guys that transfer, especially quarterbacks, they do because they want to play. Like right now, like they want to go and they want to play. That's the reason they're doing what they're doing. So
Correct.
wouldn't make a lot of sense. But again, if talent wants to come here, come on. Uh, we talked about all the analysts that Bama has. I mean, you look at their quarterback rooms and running back rooms and all that; it's just loaded with 4 and 5 star guys. So if we could do it, great. But we've got other needs that we need to address before quarterback.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Give me Mason and Ponce. Let's get this party started.
Let's go.
Yeah, not a bad combination. John, do you think our corner class is done yet this year for recruiting in terms of high school? Do you feel that Florence ends up going to Oregon or USC? I see Florence is visiting Miami this
Mm-hmm.
weekend, correct?
Right.
So that's good.
Yep.
That's very good. I still, I mean, I have to see more for me to believe that he's coming here, but I mean, the fact that he's visiting now is a good sign. And you got to replace. Remember, you lost Traquan Fagans a couple months back, so I think you got to replace that. And we got, unless Marcus Clark and Isaiah Dunson take that step forward in the offseason, which I thought they were going to last year, they didn't quite do that. If they take that step forward, awesome. But that's an if. Like there's still, aside from Tyreek Stevenson and maybe Couch, there's still a lot of question marks in this room.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, he will be here this weekend, and a lot of the thing is getting these guys on campus in front of the staff. Once this staff and Mario in particular can get in front of them, get their families here, see what's going on, the changes, and make that pitch, it changes a lot of minds. Guys who are kind of just coming to show up. Once they get here, they get something else to think about. So I don't think we're done. I think we continue to add. That's what we've been talking about. You've got to add numbers, but we'll see what happens this weekend. There's going to be some heavy hitters on campus this weekend for sure.
Yeah. Do you think by Sunday night we have any new commits?
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
I think we have at least a couple new ones.
Yes. Yep.
Because let's see, signing day is February 2nd. Today's the 11th. That is 4, 7, 11, 18. That's like 20 days away, 21 days away, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be a little surprised if we don't have probably say like at least 2 out of the weekend, to be honest with you.
Yeah. EJ, again, with a very generous donation. This dude not only is loyal, but very generous on all the shows on Team Flow, on this show, everywhere. So thank you very much for the donation and the generosity. Seems like 3-4 would be good for pass defense and 4-3 for run defense. Did you guys see how many coaches on the Alabama sideline? Almost more coaches than players. Yeah. It looked like the sideline was full from end zone to end zone. It's crazy.
Yeah, it looked like a bunch of like fans or family members or something like it. It just looked like a big gathering, but it was coaches and analysts, and you're right. It was just packed. Like you couldn't even hardly move over on that sideline. It was kind of funny to watch, to be honest with you.
I heard back in the day. I mean, I'm talking like the '80s when we would face Nebraska back then in bowl games. That it looked like they had like 200 something players because they would fill the sideline. It's like there's a limit.
Yeah, you would think should be.
You would think.
Depends on who you are, though.
Let's see. We need a running back for the next class, maybe available for us. I know Trevante Citizen. There was some smoke there last week, but then I haven't heard much since.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be shocked if we go to the portal for a guy. Are you hearing anything different from that?
No, not really. I expect a portal guy, though, like you said. I think we need somebody that it would be great to have somebody kind of come in and kind of help out immediately, because everybody's under the impression that we've got like 10 running backs or something like that. Like we are not crazy stacked at the running back position, and especially if injuries start to happen. And we've been through that before. And, then you're trying to plug holes and just fill it from wherever you can. So if we could get a guy from the portal that could come in and give some solid reps and help out, and on top of that, push some guys, competition does that. So I would fully expect Mario to grab somebody out of the portal at the running back spot for sure.
No, and who says we don't lose a guy to the portal?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, right now we got 4 guys, and people think, oh, we're good. No, 4 is not enough. You need at least you need like 6, I think.
6.
That's my opinion.
Yep, 6 is the number. And I think we're going to lose somebody to the portal out of that room, I do believe. So that's not going to help.
Yeah. I think we're going to have maybe not like a Michigan State level turnover where they had like 38 transfer portal guys, but it's going to be a new look Miami in like come September for sure.
Yep.
As long as we get Shamar, I'm not too concerned with the 2022 class. 2023 is all I'm focused on. Do we have any 23 commits soon? I know we got a few guys already. Robbie Washington was committed, but did he decommit, or is he still like I don't know.
I'll tell you, that 23 class is so packed. Like you just take a spot, take wide receiver, for example. And it's not just in the state of Florida. I know that's what everybody focuses on, but it's across the country, the entire nation. That's what I said. I don't know what was in the water back then, but whatever happened to get this class right here is just the most athletic dudes that I've ever seen. And it's every spot. It's across the country. It's in Florida. It's in Georgia. It's in Texas. It's in, Louisiana. It's everywhere. So that 23 class is going to be absolutely – it's one of those deals too, where like you take the wide receiver room, everybody kind of has their guys they want. But if you just get a combination of any 3 or 4 of those guys, it's going to be a home run. You're literally just spin the wheel and stop, and that's who you get, and you're going to be okay with it. It's just amazing, the talent in that class.
No, it's ridiculous. Right now, we got Lamar Seymour from Miami Central as a 2023 commit. So far, that's our only commit. We had Robbie Washington, who, yes, if that sounds familiar, that name sounds familiar, Bobby Washington's son from back in the day. I think he's still a target as far as I know. But, I mean, Jaylen Brown, Santana Fleming, Ruben Bain, who, like, if you watch the movie Waterboy with Adam Sandler, I mean, he puts up those kind of stats. He puts up he has like 26 sacks in a season, something crazy like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get all my info from David.
Mm.
Let's
That's
see.
why you're always wrong, Rasta.
We'll be on a few more minutes, guys.
And Seymour's
yards.
brother's already here as well. His brother's already on the team. So
Who's that?
Seymour, the 23 commit, his brother.
Oh,
Big Baby Seymour.
that's Big Baby's brother. Okay.
Yeah, that's his brother. So he's already here.
Yeah. Man, that's a dude. Big Baby. They got a nice crop of young offensive linemen. I was going to bring that up earlier.
They do.
Him, Washington, Rodriguez, McLaughlin. I'm a little concerned with the O-line because of the uncertainty and lack of experience. But there's 4 guys right there that if Mirabal can get a hold of them, I know we only have, 8 months until the season starts, but
yeah,
it's very possible 1 or 2 of those guys emerges.
Yeah. Oh, it is. And that's what I was saying. Like when you look at the guys there, we're going to be able to put 5 guys out there, and they're probably going to be quality guys. It's just what's behind them and what's in the mix and with the rotation, all that concerns me. The depth is kind of what worries me. What do we have after those 5? So.
Yeah, that's depth is definitely the issue, and that's why we got to hit the portal for 2 or 3 guys. Clint Hurt a real possibility. What about the smoke on T-Rob leaving? Yeah, Toby, we touched on that a little earlier. There is some smoke on T-Rob leaving. Hopefully, we can keep him around. That's all we got for you on him. And Clint Hurt, someone in the chat, I forgot who it was, mentioned that, it looks like that he's not being looked at anymore, but he's still a name kind of floating out there. So is he a possibility? Yes. I don't think he's number 1 on the list. Let's see. Pyburn is visiting Auburn this weekend, and then the U after. Hey, as long as he visits us last.
Man, we have got to land that dude. Like, I don't know what we got to do. My goodness.
Yeah, that's one of the dudes that, under the radar 3-star guy, but his tape is like, how is he a 3-star?
I have no idea. And like, how is it like his offers? Like you look at his offers, and I know he was committed to Minnesota, which is great, and it's not just his film and the way he plays, but when you talk to him, the way he talks and he carries himself and all that. And, he's the number 1 ranked heavyweight wrestler in the state of Florida, and just everything about him, man, you just love it. And man, I'm going to hate if we don't end up with him.
Yeah, he's like, he's like, I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's like a mini Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
He's like, I look at his face, he reminds me of him a little bit. But
when you watch him play, and then you find out he weighs like 265, pushing 270 pounds, and to move like he does like that, it's
right.
Man,
yeah,
it is unbelievable.
No. He is a very under the radar freak athlete, and if you look up the clip, it floated around Twitter of him just ragdolling dudes in his wrestling tournament.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, if you understand wrestling, if that dude's he was just throwing dudes around with ease, that means he's not only strong, he understands leverage.
Yes.
Which is very important. Another guy that was an All-American wrestler in high school, or All-State wrestler, Ray Lewis. So there you go.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, let's hit this dono really quick. Just wanted to donate. Good job. Oh, appreciate it, Alec. Appreciate it, sir. Always welcome back. 7 crystal ball to us, 2023 class. Yeah, pretty soon I'll start diving into the 2023 class because there are some studs there. Smash the like button. Oh, Terry, is your show part of the Flow shows? It's not part of the Flow channel. I have my own channel, but I guess you could call me like an unofficial part of Team Flow. I've been co-hosting with Flow since day 1, pretty much. So, yeah, I'm in a way I am a part of Team Flow. I always support these guys. You got the ones who are part of Flow's channel. Dave and Rasta, they do the show Thursday nights at 8:45. I'm sure they're going to have a great show lined up Thursday. You got him and Max on Maxed Out tonight, actually at 9. And then you got me and Flo on Sundays, and of course he drops his Flow motions whenever, apparently. So yeah, it's the suspense of naming the DC and OC really taking a toll. I'm drinking 6 more cafecitos. Yeah, I think I have a feeling like that's coming soon. All right, we'll end on this. Dave, since you probably watched TJ Watt in high school, do you think Pyburn plays the same way as TJ coming out of high school?
I mean, similar as far as like the high motor and energy and all that sort of thing. Body type, all that's a big name, big shoes to fill right there, for sure. But I think he's just got so much potential when you watch him play now, and you picture him getting coached up and being in a big time program, and just to watch him develop and his attitude, I have absolutely no doubt in my mind he is going to be a major player wherever he goes. And that was one reason at Minnesota. I asked him about that with PJ Fleck, and they're very similar. PJ's a very high motor guy, and when you watch him, you know right then why Coach Fleck wanted him, and they just kind of gelled. But thank goodness he's kind of backed out of that a little bit and is giving us a look at least. So hopefully that happens.
Yeah, man. All right, I think we'll end on that note. Alex Rivera, according to him, Maxed Out is actually at 9:30 tonight. So be sure to tune into that. Go catch our boys Flo and Max. 207 in the chat right now. I think that's a new high for this show. So thank you guys very much. Much appreciated. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Go follow Dave and Rasta again. Their show is on Thursday at 8:45. And yeah, give them a follow. Give me a follow. Anything you want to add before we go, David?
No, man. Just like I said, the next, this week is going to be exciting. Hopefully we get all this staff lined up, and then from there, recruiting the rest of the way. The next 2 to 3 weeks will be, a movie, no doubt. It's going to be interesting. So, and then once that happens, we can start focus on this 23 class that we're talking about. But next 2 to 3 weeks will be hammered down for sure.
All right, guys. So appreciate you. Appreciate all you guys. Dave got another spec show plan. All right. So be sure to tune into that. As always, guys, it's all about the U. We're all one big Canes family. So, keep showing us the support. We all appreciate it. And we'll continue to try to put out the best content we can. All right, guys, we're out.